I, due to just problems with the battery on my old phone, I decided to upgrade. And while this phone is better and the case I used, which had a stand on my old phone, is no longer available, so I thought it was going to be awkward to film on my phone without holding my phone in hand or getting a tripod. Fortunately, I can just, sit it on my laptop and kind of have it like that. And also the phone with this case with the stand is old and ratty and was no longer in use for the past few weeks of the life of my phone. Anyways, news from my publisher and just a bit of a ramble overall. I sent an email because I didn't receive any copy edits from my publisher and I was a bit concerned. I was expecting to get something from them by then so that our progress will move forward well. And also because I was expecting the edits on my end to be rough. And so I was worried that they were taking a lot of time and it was taking them a while. Quite the opposite. After switching from old King James English to more modern English, apparently the edits on my end were significantly cleaner. And the reason they've yet to send me anything at this point is because they actually intend to send me everything at once. Now, I don't know how long it will take for them to send me everything at once, but if they expect to do that, well, that means the copy edits on their end are going significantly smoother. Now, when we decided to switch from Old English to New English, it was roughly, I think, around 1 Samuel, and everything from Genesis to Ruth was written in an Old King James English style. The publisher asked if I wanted to keep those books in Old English or do it in modern English, and I replied to them a few days ago, probably be best to just re-edit them in more modern English. I will get started right away. I've yet to hear anything back from my publisher on whether or not they want me to do it, but I'm going to do it anyways, because, well, easier for them, and also it just, gives me an excuse to go back and refine. Anyways, so yeah. Now, before I get to the main news, I am going to get to the news that they told me, which is kind of flabbergasted me, but it's my publisher, and so you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. When they sent me the email, they pretty much told me that my book is expected to be historic. Now, I'm not entirely sure what they mean by historic, but I'm assuming it's going to be something along the lines of generations after my death. Even people who do not read will know at least the name of my books. It was the same with books like Crime and Punishment, War and Peace, Grapes of Wrath of Mice and Men, I'm assuming that's what they mean by my book being historic. Now, it's certainly controversial enough to at least be that, but until it happens, I don't want to get too excited over it, but the fact they mentioned it just kind of went, wow. Because they mentioned that, I kind of got sidetracked and glossed over the news which I was hoping to hear the most. And it's not so much what they said, but nor what it implies. Pretty much in regards to the edits and the like, they are happy with the content. They're happy with the edits that I've sent in. It's going along nicely. And the last sentence or statement was that we have until mid-December to sort of tweak and refine. Now, that didn't really dawn on me what that kind of implied, because, well, for one, didn't outright say anything until I was a bit kind of overwhelmed by the fact that they claimed my book is going to be historic. They said specifically that we have until mid-December to tweak and refine. Mid-December, this is November. That means we have about 6 weeks. This implies, they didn't outright say anything, so again, I kind of have to take this lighter than I would like to, but it heavily implies we have an end date. Mid-December. That, to me, means that they expect at least the editing on every end to be finished by mid-December. And that means that as far as publication and getting it on the market, mid-December is going to be roughly the time where we go from working on editing, working on refining, and after mid-December we go from pretty much editorial work to actual publishing and marketing and manufacturing and having it available for the market. I've worked manufacturing most of my life, and you'd be somewhat shocked how quickly something goes from design or whatever to manufacturing to available on the market. I doubt that my book, at least in paper, in novel paper format, is going to be on the market in time for New Year's or even Christmas. But digitally, I was hoping, not even so much expecting, but hoping that the Old Testament would be available digitally in time for New Year's. And now, it may be possible that everything, at least digitally and possibly even on paper, is going to be ready and available on the market and in bookshelves, in stores, by sometime around Christmas to after New Year's. And this has me very excited, and not as nervous as I expected to be, because with the it coming out to market, it means I'm going to have to go on tour and be interviewed and radio, television, things like that. Events will, I'm not sure specifically what events will really welcome me. I've never written or published a book before, and aside from the occasional readings, which I don't think tend to be that large, or book signings, which, I'll be honest with you, I walked by Kohl's in certain malls, and there's a guy with his books there all alone, and, he's there for a signing, so there's that. But my publisher seems to think this is going to be big. When I wrote this, I expected it to be big, but I guess it's due to it taking so long to get up to this point. The potential impact that I was expecting, I kind of forgot about. And kind of just, lowered my expectations. Well, it seems that my expectations should have remained even higher than what I originally thought, depending on the like. So yeah, there's a implied end date of at least finishing the editorial and getting ready to put on market. There's an end date for that, and it's mid-December, which is a mere 6 weeks away. Now, again, whether or not that means it'll actually be available shortly afterwards, I don't know the manufacturing process of pretty much anything like this, going from pretty much design, which is what this pretty much is at this point in now. It's a product being designed, to product being mass produced, to product being on shelves. I don't know how quick that process is in regards to this particular book, to books, to media in general, but I'm expecting it to at least be digitally available soon. My problem is, I don't know anything about digital books. I know they're more popular than I give them credit for. I do know that. The thing is, I don't like reading digital books just simply because it feels more like work than entertainment. When I'm reading a book for entertainment, it needs to be paper. If I'm reading something on a screen, it's not fun. It reminds me too much of work, like editing or writing or communicating with a friend or whatever. Not entertainment, work. And that's my personal, potentially vain or shallow, I'm not sure if it is. I'll admit it has potential to be vain or shallow reason for not getting into ebooks, but, well, it's my reason. It just sucks the entertainment and the fun out of reading for me anyways. Enough about that. On to the ramble, less important things going on in my life. And you gotta keep in mind, I only sort of knew and applied for these yesterday, so whether or not it comes to fruition is still highly doubtful. And I honestly don't expect it to happen at all, but I figure it's worth mentioning just for, well, shits and giggles. There's television filming happening in Hamilton, I don't know where. They said it was for a show called Rocket Woman. Woman with an A, not woman with an E. And I don't watch television. From the research I've done, it's actually the second season of The Handmaid's Tale, which is an exclusive on Hulu. They're hiring extras. It's $12.50 an hour. They're doing it on November 20th, so you have to pretty much be free all day. You know? In all honesty, it's probably going to be boring work. Stand around being told what to do, which is pretty much nothing but fade the background on film. If you're even being filmed, I expect you to sort of be waiting to go and stand or sit somewhere while the real shit happens. But for $12.50 an hour, it pays. And if all they expect me to do is stand there and not do anything, I assume so long as they expect me to show up, they pay me even if I don't appear on film at all. So, yeah. I applied for that, have yet to hear back from them, but it's been less than 24 hours since I've replied to them, so yeah. And as I said, they're pretty much looking for extras, so I'm assuming they got a lot of people applying. The second thing is less important in regards to actually it being money-making. It's pretty much you show up and you work for free, but they give you snacks and feed you, I guess, so there's that. It's for a music video for a band called This Mad Desire. Now, I've never heard of This Mad Desire before I stumbled across this want ad. They have one song on Spotify. Operator, call me operators standing by, I think it's called, or operators are standing by, I think it is. It's a catchy song, and they do have a few videos on YouTube, but I think it's definitely less than half a dozen. I applied, sent them an email, and pretty much did the whole background of what's going on in with my publisher and my book. Pretty much kind of, not bullshitting them, because it is all true, was the facts that I said, but telling them that I'm going to potentially be the next up-and-coming Antichrist. I have potential to be infamous in a few months' time. I sent them a link to my publisher's site so they know that, in regards to my book, I'm at least not lying to them in that regard. And, I even said, there's really no way for me to say what I'm about to say without sounding like a pompous, arrogant jackass. And I'll be honest with you. I was a bit uncomfortable writing all this. I'm gonna be a star! Bullshit, considering I'm not yet a star. But yeah, I guess I have the potential to be somebody in regards to celebrity or famous person or what have you. And shortly after sending them the introductory, I want to be in your video, it'll work for me in regards to publicity, it'll work for you because, you know, oh, you had Mr. Wells in your video before he became cool and famous. Yeah. You got that for going famous. I even arrogantly said that in the email. You will have me in your video before I become cool. And the person who handles the email, I don't know if it's the head honcho in the bands or agents or manager, I don't know, but he pretty much emailed me almost, not immediately, but within an hour and a half to a few hours. It actually was quite quick, which I wasn't suspecting, but he emailed me asking for my name and number and the application that I filled out or read or whatever. Pretty much, I think it was you send in your application with a photo or a link to your Instagram, and if they email back telling you to show up, it's not even you show up, you're in the video, it's you show up for an audition. So the fact he asked for my phone number was a bit confusing, but the phone number was asked for and I gave it to them, and he said that they will call me tomorrow. Now, saying that, it's now tomorrow, and I've yet to receive that phone call. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt, but, you know, it at least happened, so it's worth something. I don't know. Anyways, I might be in a music video for a band willing to take the, well, I'm not getting paid, so it's definitely it's not even a gamble, it's a free bet. But pretty much taking a free bet on having me in their video before I become famous. So yeah, there's that. Excuse me. Anyways, holy hell, I've been rambling for almost 25 minutes. I'm done. Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening, and bye.